Look who's back doing another voiceover. It has been a while. Let's jump right into it though and show how I would draw fire with Copic markers. So first I would get my little bookie out and go through that, and it has all my colours in it, so I will choose a few from that I want in the piece. I've chosen about 7 markers for this one. I get that everyone doesn't have as many markers as I do, but don't worry, because in the future I'm going to do a lot more tutorials just using a few markers to show that you can still get great results with just a few. So for a lot of my drawings, they're just from reference photos that I've found off Google, and same for this one, like I've just randomly Googled a fireball and drawn from that. But first off, I marked down all the Copics down on a piece of paper to see exactly what they look like, and then using all the colours, I'll have a practice blend to make sure that they all go together nice and smooth. And if any don't blend together well, I know I've got to replace it with another colour. Obviously this is not me saying this is how exactly you should draw fire, this is just showing how I would go about it, and hopefully you learn something from it. Obviously you can draw fire any way you please. So usually I start off with a very big and detailed sketch, but for this case, just because it's like fire, I just did a bit of an outline to show where I'm going to put it, and then I went straight for the markers. I chose one of the darker colours I picked and outlined it again. And then choosing one of the mid-orange colours, I do another inner outline by covering a thicker area this time. I'm not too worried about perfect forms and shapes and flicks at this moment, I'm just trying to get a lot blocked in. I'm only going to worry about the details when I'm more finalising all the blending. And now I'm just looking back and forth between my drawing and the photo, using one of the mid colours to fill out a lot of the shapes, because then I can blend out the lighter colours and the darker colours from that. So when I start putting down the lighter colours, if I'm getting closer to flicking right out to the white paper, I want to make sure that the flicks are nice and how I want them to look, because for the most part they're going to end up looking like that in the final result. I'm blending the lighter colours back into the midtones by focusing on where the two colours meet. I'll go back to the mid colour and go over again, and that's just a back and forth until you get the blend you're happy with. Then I start putting some detailed lines and flicks with the darker colours over the mid and lighter colours also, by blending out a lot of them so they're not so hard and distinct. It's pretty much the same with the shadow areas. By using the darker colours, I will keep blending them out until I get to the midtones again, and then I'll re-pick up the midtones and go back and forth until I get a blend that I'm happy with. Now I could call it done here and have it completed by just using markers, but I always like to add more shadows and highlights to mine by using black and white coloured pencils, to add much more texture and details. Starting with a black pencil, I'll go over all the darkest shadow areas first, and then I'll go around blending out areas more, and it just adds more texture, which helps because I think sometimes the markers by themselves can look a bit flat. And then it's the same with the white pencil, just keep adding more texture and highlights again, and also blending out the highlights that you've already got. And I also like to go further with the highlights by using a white paint marker. I use the Posca one. I think after this step it really just makes the drawing pop. And that's pretty much it. I still do a black background for this one so it stands out even more. But yeah, I hope you guys learnt something, and I will catch you in the next tutorial.